Finally, in writing grant fellowship applications, as in all writing, it makes sense to develop a sense of various conventions of writing and of scholarship. Now, again, when one wields those conventions, one has to, as I've just said, bear in mind the non-expert reader. But nonetheless, in writing applications, especially if you're doing it for the first time, spend some time bothering to find out, for example, what conventions of footnoting and bibliography compilation are about. Nothing irritates, for example, professional readers as much as a bibliography that doesn't have the relevant details in constructing a bibliography. And this often happens, especially for college students applying for the first time, because very often in writing college essays, nobody's paid a hell of a lot of attention to how you write bibliographies. They should have done, but they often do not. How you construct a proper footnote, what indeed is appropriate to a footnote and what is appropriate to a text, what ought to be in an annotation and what does not require to be in an annotation. Professional readers particularly tend to get very irritated by the inattention to those kinds of details. It doesn't take a lot of work to figure them out. Go to the library, take out journals in the field that you want to work in, or in the scholarly discipline which is most appropriate to your application, and simply notice how those things get done. You're going to have to in the context of your scholarly life anyway. This is not a bad time. If you have not done so, it is not a bad time to start. Those, again, are the obvious things, but they're the things that make, in the final analysis, all the difference. I have one final thing to say, and I guess it is the most inchoate of all. I've suggested you take advice. I've suggested you afflict your friends, your teachers, your advisors, and believe you me, it's an affliction that you are owed. I've suggested that you read to yourselves and pay attention to what you do, that you budget your time and you take all the care. Those are the obvious things. The non-obvious thing, I guess, is a deeply personal one. Success in grant and fellowship applications is like all academic success. It comes, in a sense, from a deep sense of inner motivation. If you're doing it merely by going through the motions, if you're doing it merely as a mechanical task, your chances of doing it successfully don't make a hell of a lot of sense. Ultimately, whatever you do, whether you want to go to graduate school, whether you want to become a research scholar, whether you want to become an applied scientist, whether you want to become a community worker, it doesn't matter what the choice is, but it matters how the choice is made and how you represent that choice, above all else to yourselves and then to the world. Ultimately, there are only three reasons to be a scholar, as I've already intimated. One is for passion. One is because something about it moves you deeply. And if it doesn't move you, look for something else. Because in the end, good scholarship is really about commitment. It's about enthusiasms, it's about sometimes craziness, sometimes it's about irrationalities, but it's about the pursuit of something that puzzles you deeply, and that is always a matter of passion. Second of all, it is deeply about a human concern. Again, it doesn't matter what that concern is, what shape it takes in its immediacies, but ultimately, if you're not moved to do what you're doing for some good human reason, it's merely an abstraction, merely something out there that seems like a good idea, the chances of your convincing anybody else are actually quite low. And thirdly, in the final analysis, scholarship and good applications and good everything is about a level of energy, a level of commitment, a level of capacity to say, the world worries me deeply and I'm going to find out about it. And this is why I want to find out about it. And your enthusiasms will, in fact, communicate themselves to your teachers, to your peers, to those who advise you, and finally, to those who read you, whether in this capacity or any other capacity. And in as much as that enthusiasm, as much as that passion is communicable and readable, so it is what fires all scholarly work and ultimately all human commitment. And in that respect, grants and fellowship applications are no different from anything else. Go out, do it well, take the care. As I say, you come from an institution with a long and fine history of doing this kind of stuff well, and doing it well precisely because of a particular environment and a culture of scholarship which is based on passion and human sensibility and energy. Communicate those things, do them well, and you'll succeed.
All right, we'll regroup in the places listed on this sheet. Oh, questions? Yes. Are there questions? No questions? No, I think it was very complete. We'll regroup as in these places on this sheet. There may be refreshments to be had, so grab a cup of hot chocolate and meet us in about 3 minutes in one of these places. The first session then will go to approximately 8:15. The second session would begin shortly thereafter. Thank you.